All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome to the
hello.
first podcast of Immortal Tortoise. This is a company which I have started about 2 weeks back,
Oh, very good.
which is a research and strategy company which deals with brand and individual health.
Yeah.
So, it is essentially a company which deals with health.
Health.
Health. It's a health startup.
That is the most
It's the
important
most important thing. Right. Health is wealth.
wealth.
Right. So brands are like people, they have characteristics, they have personalities, they have attributes. People are people, and they both have their intrinsic quality of health. So I have been a researcher for over 14 years now, in which I have worked across various brands, categories, traveled the country for various kinds of branding activities, and got a detailed understanding of what works, what doesn't work for brands. Now I've started my own company because I want to take these learnings forward and advise companies and individuals on how to reach their maximum potential. So this is the first in a series of podcasts which I'll be doing with friends, families, near and dear ones, maybe some more well-known ones, to understand what is their perspective on health and what is their philosophy in life. Okay. So my first guest on this podcast series is my father, Pawan Maskara, and this is a freewheeling conversation on what he thinks of life and where he thinks life is going and what's happening according to him. So over to you, sir. If you can introduce yourself.
First of all, as you said, health is wealth,
Correct.
which is very common.
Correct.
And I would say that the net worth of a person should be measured not just by his bank balance,
Correct.
but also by his health quotient.
Health question.
And that net worth may be evaluated in terms of money,
Correct.
and they should be added to his net worth.
Net worth. Correct.
Because what happens that many times a person has millions and millions, but he doesn't have health
Correct.
and he is not able to enjoy it.
Correct.
So his net worth is down to that extent.
Correct.
So we must be very realistic
Correct.
in all perspective.
Correct. Correct.
So that is one thing I would like to add
Correct.
to the importance of health.
Correct.
Now, health has various facets. Everybody has become health conscious, no doubt. But what kind of health? Some people are running after doctors. Some people running after meditation and yoga. Some are running after gyms and all.
Correct.
So you have to choose your health.
Ah.
You have to pick and choose
Correct.
what kind of what means would you adapt to keep your health in good shape.
Correct.
So
Correct.
to that extent, well,
What is your choice of poison?
what is your not all are not poison. Don't judge it by the same stick. The allopathic medicine,
Correct.
they are poison.
Correct.
And I don't subscribe to that kind of treatment.
Correct.
I'm against doctors.
Correct.
They put you in a vicious circle
Correct.
and then they kind of trap you.
Correct.
Because all those clinics and hospitals,
Uh-huh.
I would say that they are Yamraj ka ghar. And these doctors are Yamraj ka agent.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So,
ठीक है तो ये हेल्थ का उन्होंने काफी बातचीत कर ली but a lot of people might not know that you also went to NSD
yes,
in the 70s.
yes, yes.
When you were in your late 20s, you went to NSD and you studied theatre direction under your Jamal
Yeah.
Kazi.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about those experiences, how they shaped you.
I was interested in theatre since my childhood. Before NSD, I used to act in plays. I joined quite a few theatre groups here. So, how I got interested in theatre. Because theatre teaches you to discover yourself. I think that it is a very big step in knowing thyself.
Can you explain that?
There are so many characters in any play. You play one of the characters at least. You live the life of that character practically. You become that character. So to that extent, for that period, you are not that person. You became the character. You try to know the trials and tribulations of that person.
And for that, you have to shed your own
Yeah,
inhibitions and your own
yeah,
personality.
yeah. You have to shed yourself
You shed yourself.
and put on the other person. So it's a very cathartic kind of an experience. And when an actor dons the robe of one after another characters, so many characters, then one gets a perspective of characters of life. And well, you know a lot about life by living those lives. So that's how I got interested, and on top of it, I had the good fortune of being trained under Mr. Ibrahim Al-Qazi, who is the doyen of Indian theatre, the father of the Indian theatre. So it was a golden period of my life, and I could learn a lot of things because so many good productions were done, so many good plays and their execution, big settings, and at that time we had very good actors also.
You, Nasruddin Shah, Om Puri, were senior
Yes,
of yours.
yes, yes.
Pankaj Kapoor was your batchmate.
That was a golden period where, of course, Nasruddin Shah and Om Puri were my seniors. Pankaj Kapoor was my classmate. Anupam Kher was my junior. But in that period, we had some very good actors. That was the golden period of NSD also, and the golden period of theatre also. So I enjoyed that period very much.
You also self-published a book of poetry.
Yes, yes.
Talk to us a bit about that.
I had only two interests in life. One is theatre, another is poetry. So I used to write poems since I was very small. Since the age of maybe 15, 16, I started writing poetry. And I extensively read the best of poets in Hindi and Urdu. Like in Hindi, Sumitra Nandan Pant and Mahadevi Verma and all. In Urdu, Ghalib and Iqbal,
Faiz Ahmad Faiz.
Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and Duas of Kabir and all. So it was my aim to write as good as those poets. So I read them again and again and again and tried to imbibe the best of their techniques. So I was able to get a little hang of the technique, and that's how I started writing and then participating in various
Mushairas.
mushairas and kavi sammelans like that.
Hmm. So the first, let's say, 30 years of your life were extremely enriching. From a theatre, creative, artistic.
Not the first 30 years. First 20 years were formative years.
First from 20 years of formative years.
From 20 to
30.
50 years of age.
20 to 50.
Yeah. Yeah, that was period where my creative period is.
Creative period.
Yes.
Right. Now you are 73, going on to 74.
Yes.
So how do you look back at the last couple of decades?
Last of decades, couple of decades have been rather stagnant. Unfortunately, my creative period was only up to 50, 55 years of age. I have not been able to create much after that. So maybe I have saturated, or maybe another phase is round the corner. You never know. But it is the stagnation period that is going on at the moment.
Fair enough. So let's talk a bit more about modern day art and culture. The Indian film industry is thriving. Plays are coming to major cities.
Now the Indian film industry is thriving is mainly because of techniques. The kind of camera angles and the technology, and then you have VFX and all. So much of it. That's why you have so much of violence. But the content is quality of content has gone down, I would say. So the technique has overpowered content.
Presentation is overpowered substance.
Yes. Nowadays, that is the fact. Even in film lyrics, for instance, earlier the lyrics were of the poetic quality. Nowadays it is mainly music based.
Music based, correct. So people can dance in weddings and
Yes.
banglas.
So right now the content, the words are almost secondary.
Right.
So that is the difference. That is, I suppose,
Right.
because the times are a changing.
Right. Bob Dylan.
So we can't escape that.
Right. So what about thespians like Nasiruddin Shah who's still doing theatre, does films, does web series also? How would you classify his journey?
He's the thespian. And nowadays, there are very few thespians. He's the thespian because he belongs to my era.
Correct.
And he's still continuing.
Correct.
Amitabh Bachchan, my era.
Correct.
Still continuing.
Correct.
There are no actors of the past 20 years
Correct.
who are even potential thespians, I would
Right.
say.
Right.
You see, because that kind of commitment, that kind of quality is missing. So that is unfortunate, I would say.
You've also been a businessman.
Yes.
You had your own retail store of electronics and
Yes.
apparel. Talk to us a bit about that. How was that experience?
I have been accidental businessman. I was like the accidental prime minister. I was never a businessman.
Right.
I stepped into my father's shoes
Correct.
and tried to run it to the best of my capacity. And since it was a retail store, there was nothing much I had to do because it was kind of an autopilot.
Right.
So I haven't done much in business, but by God's grace, it has given me good returns.
Right.
That's all.
And these days, how do you like to spend your time? What do you like to do? Do you engage in any creative or artistic things?
Right now, I am more concerned about my health. So a lot of my time goes in keeping up my health. So that's about it.
Okay, pleasure talking to you. I
Thank
hope
you.
you had a good time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Interesting conversation.
Yes.
Thank you.